What's going on, YouTube family? Today we're going to be talking about why dealers lie so much. Now, I've been buying and selling cars for over 20 years, and I talk about all the pitfalls I've done wrong. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the reasons why I share this information with you is to hopefully educate the next group of people that want to become dealers. I also want to give a huge shout out to Craig from Flying Wheels. We actually have a video up if you guys want to check out his channel, as well as Brandon from Car Questions Answered. Now, these guys are also spreading the word and showing, hey, look, we're buying cars, we're selling cars, these are the good, these are the bad, this is the downfall, these are some of the mistakes that we have made. You know, human beings, we all make mistakes. Now, today, the reason why I'm bringing this story up is because I went back to the auction just recently, and after talking with a few dealers and visiting with them, it was the same thing over and over again. And this is one of the things I absolutely hate about the car industry. So as I walked around the auction, I struck up a conversation with a few dealers I haven't seen in a while, and we decided to sit down for lunch, and we're just sharing a little bit of stories here and there, and they all asked me, where do I think the market's going? I talked about how the banks are pulling back, how the flooring companies are tightening up because dealers are not selling their cars, things are getting really tough, and I could see the market's going in a very bad place. You know, I even shared that it's been harder for me to actually sell even cheap cash cars that are $2,000 to $3,000 at auction because dealers don't have the money or they don't have the flooring lines to buy them. So even after me opening up and sharing currently what's going on, not only in the, I guess, current economy, but also my personal situation, I figured this would be a great way for these guys to open back up of what's going on in their dealerships. But of course, you know, I was met with, oh, I'm doing great. I'm selling cars. I'm making so much money. I can't lose, blah, blah, blah. And I hate to say this, but every dealer swears that they never lose money, they're selling cars, they're doing great until they're not, and then they blow up. This is the type of thinking that crushes most dealers. They won't ask for help, they won't look for other places, they won't downsize, they'll do all these things to basically keep up this appearance that they're doing well when they're really financially doing bad. The reason why dealerships are closing left and right is because they can't play their flooring line, which is their line of credit. And I know every dealer in front of me was buying cars with their flooring line, they didn't have cash. So as we dug a little bit deeper into some of these stories, I'm like, well, how many cars did you sell this month? Oh, I don't know. I sold a lot. I'm grossing $4,000 a car, which I know is a lie. Right now, especially subprime market, if you're making $2,000 per copy, you're lucky because banks are not lending that type of LTV, especially when these guys are buying over MSRP at auction, or excuse me, over MMR at auction. So as we kept going into these conversations, I tried to give these guys as much leeway as I possibly can to kind of open up, maybe share. One will share and then the others will share. Nope. Hey, have you guys lost any money on cars recently? They all, nope, no, I never lose money on cars. I always buy right. I always fix them right. I do everything right, and I sell them, and I make all the money. Now, I know two of the guys at the table do not have any repair facilities, so they're sending them out to get fixed. I know they're getting hosed on recon. So I didn't say anything, kind of just bit my tongue. Other two guys continued to tell me how many cars they're selling, but when I asked them, how many banks do you have, they didn't want to share. Now, when I started in this industry, I had 27 banks. Prime, subprime, deep prime, subprime. I had everything for every type of buyer. The main reason why I wanted to get out of the business was, one, I got tired of dealing with the customers, but the main thing is, two, is the financing wasn't there here in the state of Nevada. No new banks were coming here. So I was down to 4 banks back when I sold my dealership in 2019. So I asked these guys, how many banks are you working with? They refused to, oh, I don't know, I got maybe 5 to 10. Okay, well, what are the names of these banks? Which one's giving you the best deals? You know, are they charging you maybe a 5% buy fee, 10% buy fee? If you guys don't know what that is, banks actually charge dealers a percentage or a dollar amount to buy an actual deal. So we have to pay banks to buy your auto loan, which is crazy. Now, if you have good credit, sometimes we don't have to pay anything, and once in a blue moon, they'll actually pay us to buy your paper. So they're sitting here telling me, you know, they don't know the fees, they don't know the rates, they don't know the gross margins of what they're making. Okay, well, what's the average LTV you're loaning at? Are you lending at maybe 110% LTV, 120? You know, which banks are doing what? Because part of being a dealer is knowing your cars, your inventory, knowing your salespeople, but more importantly, knowing what the banks are buying. Because at the end of the day, there is no more cash. There are a bunch of people sitting on the sidelines with cash, but unless you give them a smoking deal, they're just going to keep waiting. So all we can do is hope for financing. So when they can't tell me which banks are buying at what rates, what discounts, what type of fees, also what type of LTV they're lending at, all these things basically let me know that these dealers are full of crap. Now, I'm not going to out anybody. I know two of you guys watch my channel, but it's very sad because the purpose of this channel and the purpose of these other guys' channels, Flying Wheels and Car Questions Answered, is to help our community communicate and talk about what's currently going on in the market, things to look out for. I talk about it all the time, how dealers basically fail because they can't ask for help. Now, I'm not saying they have to go out there and like beg for somebody's help, but they can say, hey, you know what? Sales are slow. Sales are bad. Like even right now, I'll tell you guys, the cars that I bought last month, even though they're cheap, they're still worth more. But even though the value is there, I can't get dealers with cash to actually sell. So I might have to actually sell some of these cars retail, which I don't want to do. I don't really want to deal with the general public at the moment. But, if that's the course I have to do, then I have to go that route because I need to make sure I make money on these vehicles. Now, I have no problem telling the dealers this, telling the world this, but for some reason, dealers refuse to answer simple questions like this or even think, okay, what am I doing wrong? How do I fix this? So hopefully some of you dealers watching this will realize that the market is not great. And the longer you hold on to your cars, that was another heated discussion, you're going to fail. None of these dealers can tell me how long the oldest car has been on their lot. If you ask me, I can tell you exactly. I've had a car right now for 6 months. It cost me a little over $12,000. It's a wrecked Lexus IS 300. I'm going to fix it. I know it's just sitting there, but that's money tied up. Now, if I had a flooring line, that $12,000 car probably would have costed me about $16,000 to $17,000 as of now because of all the interest and extensions and everything else. But I know these guys are not paying cash, so they're paying money every month on their cars, but they refuse to tell me how old their cars were. Also, what's the average sales price? $5,000, $10,000, $30,000? Nothing. They couldn't tell me any of their numbers, which kind of blew my mind. Now, I'm going to say this for not only the dealers, but some of the regular people watching this, consumers. Now, if you're sitting on old inventory, get rid of it. Lower the price, you're going to lose money. It's okay. I've lost thousands of dollars. I've bought in cars. The book has changed. Other things went wrong with the car. Customers backed out of the deal. It's going to happen. It's part of the business. It's okay to lose money on cars. Now, if you lose $1,000 today, that's better than $2,000 next month. And then the month after that, 90 days, you're looking at $3,000. So cut your losses today and move on. It's okay to get rid of those cars. Another thing is after I talk to a lot of these flooring companies, they're telling me that they're seeing the highest rate of delinquencies ever in history with their dealers right now, higher than 2008. So not only are customers having the highest amount of repos and delinquencies, dealers are also at the highest amount of delinquencies, debt, and basically repos coming up here soon. So this is a very sad sign. You need to pay attention to this and you need to make certain moves to lean out your business. I don't care if you got to let some people go, which sucks. I know you got to get rid of some cars, which also sucks. Your personal cars, I won't mention names, but I know 2 or 3 dealers right now that basically sell 10 cars a month and they're driving Lambos. You can't afford those cars. Give them up, get rid of them. Move your inventory, keep going. Even me, I'm taking a bunch of cars to Odessa this week. So if you're in Las Vegas and you want to buy some of my cars, I'll probably be there repping them. I'm going to blow these things out for, I don't care, a couple hundred, a couple $1,000 just to get them out. The reason why is because I know the longer I hold it, the more damage it'll do. This will give me new opportunities to go buy more cars and have an opportunity to resell them, hopefully for a profit. But if I keep holding on to cars that are not selling, my chances of selling those for a profit get smaller and smaller every single day. This is just what we're taught. This is how you're supposed to do the business. So please sell your shit. Next thing I'm going to harp on is the actual marketing aspects. Now this really drives me nuts. When I put a car up for sale, I put the exact price. The only thing I don't put in there is the sales tax because I don't know what county you're coming from or what state or if you're doing a trade-in. But everything else is up there. When I asked these dealers, hey, how are you guys running your marketing? What are you charging people? Guess what they all told me? Oh, I put what I bought it for at the auction, and then I put on my maintenance fee, my service fee, my accounting fee, this fee, this fee, this fee, my pack fee, all this stuff. So at the end of the day, let's say it's a $20,000 car. When they go to sell out, it's probably about $25,000. They put $5,000 worth of these miscellaneous fees on top of that. And Auto Trader and Car Gurus let these guys get away with it because they know that people only want to look for the cheapest car possible. They don't want to compare about features and comps. Nope, they want to see what's the cheapest thing. I'm going to go for that. And so unfortunately, it's training dealers to think that exact same way. So after we talked about this, I'm like, aren't you worried that customers are going to show up and get pissed off? I had it all the time. I remember one time I paid for a newspaper ad and I told the guy the car was $13,000. and he winded up screwing that up. And I think he put like maybe like $8,000 or something like that. And make a long story short, I had like hundreds of calls. People came down there. I winded up selling the car for a loss. But I didn't want to have an argument of people fighting customers saying that I was lying and stuff like that because it wasn't worth my reputation. But these guys, they're like, oh, I have customers, they flip out all the time. They go screaming. You know, one guy told me that a guy drove all the way from, I guess, Lodi, California, which is way up there next to Sacramento, drove all the way down to Vegas to buy this truck because his truck was like the cheapest one. And when he got there, they hit him with $6,000 on top of the sales price. You know, thinking that this guy would have no choice but to buy this car or he's going to drive back empty-handed. The guy literally took on a plane and flew back to California and I guess bought at some other dealership, but it didn't bother them. And so, you know, not saying that all dealers are bad and what they're doing is like horrific, but dealers need to stop and think, like, what if that was your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, even you? I've had it where I've sold cars to other people and they come back and I have to charge more money because I've either held it for longer or I had to fix something. They get upset. Dealers are the first ones to cry about prices. That's too much money. I can't make any money. That's too much. But then when it comes to the customers buying the cars, they do a complete 180. Oh, I got to make money. You got to do this and you got to overpay. That's just the way the business is. Those days are gone. And what I'm trying to make and the point I'm trying to basically set across to not only dealers but consumers is the good times are over. The market is dead. Like there's not people out there jumping over hoops for cars. All you clowns at new car stores thinking you can buy cars over MSRP, it's not going to happen. No one's going to buy these things anymore unless you have something really rare and unique. All the dealers that are selling used cars for damn near brand new prices, stop. You're not going to sell it. On top of that, banks don't care about independent dealers. I'm here to first want to tell you, they don't care. They'd rather give all the money to franchise stores to take care of them than to take independent dealers. So remember this, every time you go to sell a car and you get an approval, that may be your last approval from that bank for that dollar amount. Take it, move on. Because as this market gets tighter and that credit crunch becomes real, we're already seeing it in a lot of different states. And the Midwest is a little bit slow to catch up, but on the coastal cities, you're feeling it. Cars are not moving. People don't have the credit. And now we're starting to see all the people coming in with either buried upside down in their cars or they just got a repo. Now, it's literally 2008 all over again. We got all these people with challenging credit trying to jump back into cars that they can't afford. It's not going to happen. I promise you, a lot of these people are going to be pushed off to buy here, pay here dealers. And once you deal with them, you're going to be paying 29% interest on a Kia and you're going to have no other choice. So in the meantime, dealers, if you're watching this, take my advice. Call all of your customers in the last 3 years. Ask them how they're doing and see if they need anything, whether it's a new car, trade in a new car, maybe some service work if you guys have a service facility. After that, lower all the prices of your cars. It's going to sound silly. Go to the volume model. Just try to pump cars out just to get the banks happy with you to keep your deals rolling. Talk to your bankers, ask them if they're changing any type of regulations. I can't tell you how many times I've been on calls or where a dealer has maybe 10 cars that are 2015s and now their bank only lends on 2016s and above. Now you're going to be left out in the cold. So you need to make sure that none of your bank's programs have changed in the last few months. On top of that, ask them if they're still going to continue to lend. Are they going to be aggressive? Are they pulling back? Talk to your bankers because I don't know why most dealers will only call their bankers when they're trying to push a deal through. My advice, take them to dinner, talk to them. They are your first eyes and ears of what's going on in the market. They will tell you how many people are getting repoed, how many deals they're doing. And so if they're telling you they used to do 300 deals a month, but now they're only doing about 75 deals, you know that it's bad. And more than likely, those 75 deals came from franchise stores, not independents. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's been kind of a little bit of a rant, and it's something maybe fun and educational for you guys. If you learned anything, please put in the comment section below what you guys think. Also, please check out Craig with Flying Wheels channel. Also, Brandon with Car Questions Answered. I'll leave a link to both those gentlemen's channels. Remember, at the end of the day, we're all here to help you guys learn about the car industry and share a little bit of knowledge. So definitely shout out to those guys, and we'll see you guys next video.